Welcome back to Top 5. Viewer discretion advised. 5. The murder of Jill Dando. In April 1999, the shocking assassination of British television presenter Jill Dando took place outside her home in London. The scene was chilling. As Dando returned from her morning shopping, she was shot in the head at close range. Witnesses reported hearing a single gunshot, followed by a commotion. When police arrived, they found her lying on the ground, blood pooling around her head, her body lifeless. The brutality of the act sent shockwaves through the nation, as Dando was a beloved public figure. The area was cordoned off, and forensic teams worked tirelessly to gather evidence, but the crime was shrouded in mystery. The investigation revealed a complex web of suspects, including a man named Barry George, who was wrongfully convicted. The scene itself was haunting, with floral tributes and candles left by mourning fans, a stark contrast to the violence that had taken place. The unanswered questions and the media frenzy surrounding the case only added to its gruesome legacy. 4. The murder of Meredith Kercher. The murder of British exchange student Meredith Kercher in November 2007 in Perugia, Italy, became a high-profile case that captivated the world. Kercher was found in her bedroom, her body partially covered by a blanket. The scene was horrific. She had been brutally attacked, suffering multiple stab wounds that left her lifeless on the floor. The blood-soaked walls and the disarray of the room painted a picture of a violent struggle. Items were strewn about, and the window was broken, creating a sense of chaos. The investigation quickly turned controversial, as American student Amanda Knox and her then-boyfriend Rafael Solicito were implicated, leading to a media circus that captivated audiences globally. The gruesome details of Meredith's death and the subsequent trials highlighted not only the violence of the act but also the impact of sensationalism on justice. The case remains a chilling reminder of the fragility of life and the darkness that can exist in otherwise peaceful settings. 3. The case of the West Memphis Three. In 1993, the brutal murders of 3 young boys in West Memphis, Arkansas, shocked the community. The bodies of 8-year-olds Stevie Branch, Michael Moore, and Christopher Byers were discovered in a wooded area, their bodies mutilated and bound. The gruesome scene was beyond comprehension. The boys had been beaten, and evidence of sexual assault was apparent. The investigation was marred by the rush to judgment, leading to the wrongful conviction of 3 teenagers, the West Memphis Three, accused of the murders. The crime scene itself was a haunting tableau, with the innocence of childhood shattered in the most horrific way. The boys' families endured unimaginable pain, and the case brought attention to issues of justice, prejudice, and the consequences of a flawed legal system. Years later, after extensive media coverage and public outcry, the 3 convicted men were exonerated, but the gruesome details of that fateful day would forever haunt the community. 2. The murder of Junko Furuta. The case of Junko Furuta is one of the most horrifying crimes in Japanese history. In November 1988, 17-year-old Junko was kidnapped by a group of boys who subjected her to an unimaginable ordeal over the course of 44 days. During this time, she was held captive in a house, where she was brutally raped, tortured, and abused in ways that are difficult to comprehend. The boys recorded their acts of violence, relishing in her suffering. The gruesome details include beatings, sexual assaults, and psychological torment that pushed her to the brink of despair. When they finally decided to dispose of her body, they placed her in a concrete drum and set it on fire. The scene of her murder and the subsequent discovery of her remains shocked the nation, highlighting a profound failure in protecting vulnerable individuals. 1. The murder of John Lennon. On December 8, 1980, the world was rocked by the assassination of music legend John Lennon outside his apartment building in New York City. As Lennon returned home with Yoko Ono, he was approached by Mark David Chapman, who shot him 4 times in the back. The scene was chaotic and gruesome. Lennon stumbled into the lobby, blood pouring from his wounds, and collapsed on the floor. Witnesses described the panic and confusion that ensued as the sound of gunfire pierced the evening air. The lobby became a horrifying tableau. Police arrived to find Lennon unresponsive, his body surrounded by a pool of blood. Despite efforts to revive him, he was pronounced dead on arrival at the hospital. The murder of Lennon shocked the world, leaving fans devastated and a nation mourning the loss of a cultural icon. The brutality of the act and the profound impact it had on music and society rendered this crime scene one of the most tragic and gruesome in history.